How the Ghost Got Scared. Once upon a time, in an ancient castle, there lived a nervous and irritable ghost named Barrymore. It wandered through the old hallways and scared everyone who crossed its path. As a result, residents never stayed long in the castle. They'd buy it, move in, eventually bump into the ghost, faint in fright, and immediately sell the castle. Of course, they never mentioned the ghost to the new owners. After all, who would buy the castle if they knew? One fine day, the ghost Barrymore was looking out the window at the area in front of the castle. The previous residents were packing their suitcases into their car. The night before, Barrymore had walked through a wall and ended up in a hallway just as the lady of the house was passing by. She was carrying a huge dish of jelly for dinner dessert when she suddenly saw the terrifying inhabitant of the castle. She screamed at the top of her lungs, her legs tangled, and she collapsed to the floor, while the jelly, hovering thoughtfully in the air for a moment, came crashing down on top of her. The gelatinous mass covered her, and now the woman herself resembled a ghost. Hearing the commotion, the master of the house rushed in, but upon seeing two ghosts, he paled, hiccuped, muttered something about urgent business in the library, and quickly fled. The man now stood outside, still pale, furiously stuffing the last suitcase into the car's overfilled trunk. "You see, I've discovered the climate here doesn't quite suit me," he told the new residents to whom they had just sold the castle. "See how pale I am? The doctor says I need a warmer southern climate." "Yes, yes," his wife agreed, though if you looked closely, you could still see traces of jelly in her hair. "It's such a shame to leave this beautiful castle, but what can we do? Health comes first." Barrymore looked at the new owners and shook his head. It was a young couple with two neat and well-behaved children, a younger boy and an older girl. "Oh yes," Barrymore muttered sarcastically. "Soon enough you'll be packing your wet pants into suitcases and handing over the keys to the next buyers." Barrymore usually let the new residents settle in before jumping out at them from dark corners. So he spent the day calmly wandering through one wing of the castle while the family settled in the other. And then something terrifying happened. Barrymore was gliding down the hallway as usual when suddenly it appeared from around the corner. The creature was small but hunched, rapidly moving and very frightening. It looked like a horrifying scarecrow with a ferocious expression on its dirty face. Its hair was tangled and covered in soot. Its clothes were worn and torn, with many stains and holes, and instead of shoes, the monstrous scarecrow had two iron pots on its feet, which clanged loudly with every step. The ghost gasped and was about to flee. It turned around and froze in terror. Behind it stood a witch. Thin and hunched, she wore a long, snow-white nightgown. Her head was bowed, and the long black hair covered her face, hanging down past her waist. The ghost whimpered, curled up in a corner, and began to tremble in fear. "Johnny, I'm going to give you such a scolding!" The ghost heard a young girl's voice. "I didn't even have time to change or brush my hair. And now our parents have sent me to find you. Couldn't you stay quietly in your room? Look at yourself. You're as dirty as chimney sweep. Mom is going to be so mad." "How can I stay in my room when there's a whole castle around us?" came the boyish voice of a child. I climbed into the attic, peeked into the chimney, explored all the storerooms, but look, I'm wearing my special I don't care if they get dirty clothes that Mom always talks about, so I won't get in trouble. Oh, you will, you will. It will take 3 hours to clean you up. Mom's not going to like it. And what's with the pots on your feet? I found them in one of the storerooms. I thought there might be ghosts in the castle, so I put them on to scare them away. Well, it looks like your plan worked. Look, I think there's a poor ghost trembling in the corner over there. Hello, please excuse my brother Johnny. He's quite a troublemaker and never sits still. The ghost raised its eyes and stopped trembling. In front of it stood the same witch, thin, hunched, with long black hair. But she was hunched because she was combing the very tips of her long black hair. When she straightened up and pushed her hair away from her face, it turned out to be the older sister the ghost had seen earlier that day in front of the castle. Her brother, though much dirtier now, still resembled the neat little boy who had stood by the car that morning. "How this is possible?" the ghost groaned, slowly standing up from the floor. "Just recently you were so clean and tidy, like a model for a good behavior magazine, and now—" "Johnny is a world champion in transforming from a good boy into little rascal in a matter of seconds," the sister explained. "Johnny, apologize to Mr. Ghost." "I'm sorry." Johnny sniffed and shuffled his feet. The pots made a meek, apologetic clank. "Take those off, please," Barrymore said. "Ghosts aren't supposed to get headaches, but it seems those pots have somehow managed to give me one." And so, for the first time, instead of scaring the new residents, Barrymore got scared himself. But this incident allowed the ghost to get to know the new owners better and realize they weren't so bad after all. As a result, Johnny's family, along with his sister, mom and dad, lived in the castle happily for a long time. And Barrymore, having experienced what it was like to be really scared, stopped frightening people to avoid causing anyone such unpleasant feelings.